She clings to Hito, telling him that she doesn't like the job of a physical education teacher, but it is the job where she can slack the most. She begins getting even closer to Hito and whispering dirty things in his ears to make him fluster. Because of that, Yuki gets angry and forgets to hold back her strength when she hits the ball. The ball tears through the net and smashes the wall, and Yuki gets nervous as the girls ask her the reason for her superhuman strength. After that, Hito and Yuki have lunch together, and she apologizes for losing control earlier. He tells her that it was not her fault, and then Yuki begins telling him that even though she is sure that knitted doesn't mean any harm, she felt odd seeing her close with Hito. She asks if this is normal or is she behaving oddly, and Hito realizes that Yuki got jealous because another girl got close to him. A couple days later, as Yuki is doing the household chores, she opens the washing machine to collect the washed clothes, and when she finds that the towels are clean and dried, she is elated. She runs to tell the good news to Hito because she had been struggling to wash them properly for the last month. He praises her, and then Yuki resumes doing her chores. Hito asks her what they should have for dinner, and she tells him that they should eat shredded cabbage with pork cutlet and the special sauce. Hito agrees, and he takes her to the famous shop where he buys the pork cutlets from. The shriveled old lady at the shop takes Hito's order, and then asks him about Yuki, who is sticking her face to the glass window as she drools on seeing huge amounts of sauce inside. She then notices the old man in the shop chopping up the pork cutlets. His whole body trembles normally, but as he is about to chop the cutlet, he suddenly becomes perfectly calm and cuts them into neat pieces. Yuki is awed by this and thinks that he must also be a master assassin to have such great skills despite his age, and Hito doesn't want to stop her imagination. The old lady asks him what the girl is rambling about, and to cover up for her, Hito tells her that Yuki is a big fan of their sauce. The old lady is glad to hear that, and she tells Yuki that she was the one who came up with the recipe. Yuki is awestruck on hearing this, and she asks the woman if she is a god. She thanks the old woman, explaining how much her sauce means to her. Yuki says that she could never feel the taste of food till she tasted the sauce, and the old lady smiles as she tells her that she might be missing some warmth and happiness in her life that made her unable to appreciate the taste of food. She says that Yuki must have been able to taste the sauce because she was happy, and she thinks that it is the truth. As Yuki is busy thinking about the happiness she found after meeting Hito, the old man in the shop suddenly arrives behind her and pats her shoulder, telling her that there was some dust there. Yuki is shocked because she didn't even feel his presence, and now she is certain that he is a legendary assassin, and she becomes a fan. After that, she tastes some fresh sauce and feels on top of the world, and then they return home to have dinner. After dinner, as Yuki is doing the dishes, Hito tries searching about the Dragon's 9 on Google, but the search results say that it is just a Chinese legend. He wonders if he should ask Yuki about it, but then decides against it because she is trying really hard to move on from her past. He falls asleep on the couch and has a dream about his mom leaving them. He cries, asking for her to stay and chases after her, when suddenly, his dream ends and he finds himself in Yuki's arms. He freaks out as he feels something jiggly hit his chin, and Yuki asks if he was having the nightmare about his mom again. He affirms, and Yuki offers him a nap on her juicy thighs to get over the dream. Hito gets flustered and refuses her, but then suddenly, his smartphone drops with the Chrome tab still open. Yuki finds that he was searching about her previous organization and asks if he is curious. Hito says that he wanted to know more about her, and Yuki tells him that she can't tell him much about the Dragon's 9 because she doesn't know it well. She says that she was just a mindless killer, whose sole focus was on doing her jobs properly so that she was not discarded. That is why she doesn't know much about the underground organization. She tells Hito that she is so deeply scarred by living the life in darkness that she still finds the ordinary things in her new life dazzling. She says that she is glad that she came to Hito and got a chance to become normal, and he tells her that he is also glad that she came to him. He turns red with embarrassment as he says that, and then Yuki decides to tell him more about herself. She says that she wanted him to lay down on her lap because the first day they did it, she felt like she could truly help him. Hito gets even more flustered on hearing this, and he decides to tell her something in return as well. He says that while his dream just now started as a nightmare, as he kept running after his mom, he entered the light where Yuki came to save him like an angel. The next day, Yuki finishes all her chores as usual and then goes to the market for grocery shopping. All the guys in the market keep staring at her, but Yuki doesn't pay them any mind. She starts picking up some vegetables, and the old shopkeeper helps her. Just then, a girl comes to Yuki and long time, and she found her really pretty and cool. Yuki is shocked because the girl told her that normal people don't wear maid uniforms. Soon, Hito comes there because he had to buy some magazines too, and arms are not normal. Well, Hito tells her the truth, and on the next Sunday, they decide to go shop. Riko is already waiting for them at the shopping complex, but to Hito's shock, Nita is also there. He asks her what the hell is she doing here, and she tells him that she had planted a bug in his room and learned about his plans. Hito tells her to get away, but Nita tells him that he needs some expert advice on what clothes to buy for Yuki, and she is the best candidate. Riko is curious now, and she asks if this cool and mature woman is also an assassin, and Nita affirms before choking her with her marshmallows, and Riko awakens yet another kink. Riko says that she knows a store where they can get nice clothes for Yuki and then takes them to a cosplay store and makes her try an even more eye-catching maid uniform. She begins snapping pictures because this was the only reason she brought Yuki here, but Yuki doesn't like the dress since it is not convenient. The next dress she tries is quite short, and Yuki doesn't like it either because it is not good for hiding knives. Hito tells her that she doesn't need knives because she is no longer an assassin, but she tells him that she feels calm just by having knives with her. After that, they go to a normal shop, where Yuki tries on some normal clothes and Riko and Nita put a swimsuit in the mix too. They ask Hito which one he likes the best, and he says that he prefers Yuki in a long white dress. Nita begins making fun of his fantasies, and Hito does not want to stay around her anymore. Anyway, they buy pretty much everything Yuki tried and begin heading home. Suddenly, they spot a Halloween item store, and Riko rushes inside to buy some costumes. She dresses up as a witch, and Yuki does the same but better. Nita dresses up like the cops on the hub, and Riko likes her style. They start bonding over their twisted fantasies, while Hito and Yuki watch them from a distance. Hito says that Riko really likes Halloween, but he is not that interested. Suddenly, he sees a poster for a popular zombie movie and asks Yuki if she would like to see it. The other girls are ready to see the movie, but Yuki says that she has never seen one. Hito asks if she has never even been to a cinema hall, and Yuki says that she has been there, but it was only to take advantage of the dark and assassinate some targets. Hito feels awkward now, but he tells Yuki that she should experience seeing a movie this time. They go to the cinema hall, and Nita falls asleep mid-movie, but Yuki is deeply engrossed in it. She grows afraid as the movie continues, and by the time it ends, she has developed a phobia of zombies. Riko tells her that zombies are slow and stupid, and she can deal with them without even trying. Yuki agrees, but says that she hates the smell of rotten bodies. She then says that since zombies are already dead, she can't even kill them. She begins trembling with fear, so Hito decides to treat the girls to some desserts to calm her. They share the desserts with each other, and a shy pink-haired girl watches them from across the road. Suddenly, a man grabs her hand and tells her that she dropped her guard. He tells the girl named Naka that she won't be able to become a good assassin like this and tells her to stop getting distracted and stick to the training. She apologizes and says she will focus on training, but then her attention again goes to Hito and the girls who are having fun. Later, Nita leaves for her house, and Riko tells her that next time they should go shopping just by themselves. Hito decides to drop Riko to her home, and Yuki says she will return home and start preparing dinner. After they leave, she stares at her reflection in the shop window and begins thinking about the significance of the maid uniform in her life. Once she gets home, she changes back into the maid uniform and goes to check on Machai and finds that his toys and rugs are all dirty. She says she will clean them now, but Machai runs away with a rug. She tries chasing him, but then suddenly, the weather turns stormy. As thunder roars in the sky, Yuki suddenly gets paranoid and starts imagining a zombie attack. In the meantime, Machai keeps fooling around and hits a table in the kitchen, causing cold soup to fall on him. Yuki is even more scared after hearing that sound, and when Machai walks to her with a dirty towel on his head, she freaks out and attacks him, thinking it is a zombie. When Hito returns home, he finds that Yuki has shredded Machai's towel because of her paranoia, and now the dog is sad. Yuki apologizes and promises to mend the towel, and even though Hito doesn't think it is possible, he tells her to do as she wishes. He notices that she has changed back into the maid uniform and asks if she did not like the clothes they bought. Yuki says that she really liked them, but she could not get herself to move on from the maid uniform, which was a gift from her previous master. He was an ailing old man who helped her get away from the life of an assassin, and in the end, he was the one who sent her to Hito. That is why she wants to keep wearing the maid uniform since it reminds her of him. Yuki asks Hito if it is weird for her to keep wanting this uniform that is not normal and being afraid of zombies when she is an assassin. He tells her that it is not weird because it is normal for people to like things that have strong memories attached to them and to fear things that scare them. He tells her to stop thinking about how the world sees her and become a version of normal that suits her. Yuki is glad to hear that, and then Machai starts running around the room because he wants to get his towel mended. Hito lifts him up and realizes that this was the towel he had when he was left at his door, and he thinks that Machai is attached to the tower that reminds him of his family. Yuki understands how the dog feels because her bell is the only thing that reminds her of her sister, who is far away from her. Hito is shocked to hear that and asks Yuki if she really has a sister, but she just keeps staring at him blankly. The next day, Hito and Yuki go to a ramen shop along with Nida, because she is the only one who can help them in finding information about Yuki's sister. She tells Yuki that it is his treat, and after gulping down the entire bowl of ramen faster than Naruto ever could, she says that it is not enough to buy her services. Hito lashes at her and asks to split the bill, but Yuki is not paying them any attention since she is busy adding her favorite sauce to the ramen. Nida freaks out at that because she is a self-proclaimed disciple of Gordon Ramsay, and she says that it is a sin to add sauce to perfectly made ramen. Yuki doesn't hear her rambling, but then she notices that she has almost run out of the sauce, and she grows worried. So Hito takes her to the shop to buy some sauce, but the tiny old lady tells her that they have already run out of sauce since all the students in the area bought it, and now they only have enough to meet their regular business needs. Yuki says that it is fine, but Hito can hear the sound of her heart breaking. As they head back home, Yuki stares at the small amount of sauce left in the bottle and says that she will use it wisely so that it lasts an entire week. Hito wants to snap her out of this gloomy mood, and he asks her about her sister. He asks what will she say to her when they finally meet, and Yuki says that she doesn't even remember her sister's face. She explains that she was taken away from her family at a young age, and her memories with them are faint and scattered. The only thing she knows about her sister is that their mother gave them identical bell accessories, and she has always been carrying hers around, hoping that she can identify her sister when she sees her. Yuki then says that she is scared to see her sister again, because she might have a grudge against her. Hito feels nervous and asks if he should tell Nida not to look for her, but Yuki says that even though she is afraid, she will be happy to learn that her sister is doing well. Just then, Hito's friends arrive there and ask them if they are out shopping together. Hito is surprised to see them, and they tell him that they came here to buy the latest album of their favorite singer Nasuka, who is also going to perform at the local festival soon. Suddenly, the short friend begins to get jealous of how close Hito and Yuki are, and he finds it suspicious that recently two pretty women related to him have joined the school. The halfling is jealous that Hito doesn't spend time with them now, but the tall guy tells him to calm down because at least Hito is happy because of Yuki. They begin telling her about how dark and edgy Hito was during his middle school years, and he tries shutting them up. In the tussle, the signed album is tossed away from his friend's hand, and Yuki tries to save him by throwing her bag to stop the album from going down the drain. However, in doing so, the sauce bottle is yeeted out of her bag, and the entire sauce is spilled on the floor, devastating Yuki. That night, she has a nightmare where the giant sauce bottle is empty and angry at her. And when Hito comes to wake her up the next morning, Yuki tells him that she has no reason left to live. Hito comforts her, saying that she can buy the sauce the next week, and she tells him that she had another dream, but doesn't reveal the details. The next night, too, Yuki has the same terrible dream, and she runs to Hito's room, asking him to sleep with her because she is too scared to sleep alone. He gets flustered on hearing this, and then tells her that he is pulling an all-nighter for the upcoming test, so he can stay awake by her side till she feels better. As they drink coffee, Yuki suddenly tells Hito that he is a man with great character, and then asks him if he has ever hated someone. He thinks about it, and says that he won't call it hate, but he disliked his father because of some things that happened in the past. But that is what family relationships are about. His words remind Yuki of her sister telling her that she hates her, and she decides to go back to her room, saying that she is just disturbing Hito here. Once she falls asleep, she sees the empty sauce bottle telling her that she abandoned it and her sister, and now everyone hates her because she is a cold-blooded killer. The sauce bottle shows her that even Hito and Riko hate her, and then begins unraveling her path. When Nuki was a child, she was a genius who could speak 15 languages at the age of 7. She was on the way of becoming a celebrity because of her intelligence and cuteness, but she was only interested in making her parents happy. They lived happily, but then on her 7th birthday, they had an unexpected guest. As her parents go to open the door, Hospital tells her that her parents were killed because the assault. Yuki lives through her horrid past where she lost her emotions after the death of her parents and gave in to her training to become a cold-blooded murderer. When her sister learnt this, she told Yuki that she hated her and threw away the bell that their mother had given them. The voice keeps telling her that she has no choice but to remain an assassin because that is her purpose on Earth. Yuki feels lost when suddenly the voice changes into that of her teacher, and she finds him in front of her, asking her to return to work. Suddenly, Yuki wakes up as Hito calls her name. He asks if she is fine because he could hear her groaning in sleep. She suddenly hugs him tightly and pulls him onto the bed with her. Hito starts vibrating like your mom's favorite toy because this simulation is too much for a virgin like him. Yuki apologizes for being forceful, but asks him to let her stay like this for a while because she needs it. He finds that she is trembling from fear and asks if she had a nightmare. Yuki affirms, saying that it was a dream from her past and she doesn't want to talk about it. Hito suddenly starts patting her back to help her relax and go to sleep because that is what his mother used to do when he was scared. And it works on Yuki too. The next day at school, Hito's friends are shocked when Yuki asks them about the upcoming festival. They ask her how does she not know about the famous Katsuta festival that is a grand tradition of their school. It consists of the music festival, the sports festival, and the cultural festival. All the classes take part in it, and the winner gets a special version of the Katsuta sauce. Yuki starts drooling on hearing about the sauce. But then Hito's friends say that since they are freshmen who don't know much about the festival, they probably won't be even on the podium. They say that the cultural festival matters the most in the results, and then there are their scores in the exam as well. On that note, Hito asks Yuki about her performance in the recent exam, and she shows him that she got 42 marks, that is barely above the failing grade. She is really proud of that, but as she learns that the class average marks are also counted in the result for the festival, she grows afraid that she will bring down the class average single-handedly. Hito tries to calm her down, saying that as long as she passes, it is all good. Later, Hito and Yuki go to meet with Nita and get their weekly quota of Katsuden bread according to their deal. Yuki thanks Nita for it because she had been suffering from sauce withdrawal symptoms the entire week. Nita tells them to go back to their class because she has to grade some tests, and as they head back, they begin talking about the class average scores that will be counted in the festival. On hearing this, Nita tells Yuki that she is going to bring down the class average for sure, because she didn't even write her name on the answer sheet for the physical education test, and that means she is going to fail. Yuki panics, but Hito tries to cut a deal with Nita to let them write the name right now. She tells them that they will have to do her work for free, and the bread deal is off if they want to get this chance. But Yuki is willing to pay this price because she wants to win the festival and get the special sauce. Suddenly, a gust of wind passes by, and then Nita finds Yuki's name written on the answer sheet. She is shocked and asks how could she be so fast. But before Yuki can say anything, Hito decides to play Saul Goodman, and says that the name must have been always there, but Nita must not have seen it earlier. Nita realizes that she got lawyered, and decides to let Hito get away with it this time. After she goes, Hito asks Yuki what did she do, and she says that it was not her. The person who wrote her name is hiding behind the wall, and she is glad that she could help Yuki. However, Yuki has noticed her, and she goes to thank her. The pink-haired girl is Naka, the same one who was watching them in the market, and she turns red as she finds Yuki close to her. She stammers a lot, but then introduces herself as their classmate and tells Yuki that she knows of a way to win the festival. The truth is that the girl Naka is the descendant of the prestigious Hikage family who have passed down their martial arts for generations. Naka is still learning how to hone her skills under the guidance of her elder brother Taka, who acts stern on the outside, but he actually cares a lot about his sister. He is also the student council president of the school where Hito studies, and he seems to be especially wary of Yuki, who is in the same class as his sister, and her background has a lot of plot holes. He thinks that she may be an enemy who can harm his sister, so he decides to investigate her personally. Meanwhile, the school festival has already begun, and the theme Hito's class is following is an animal cafe. Hito, Yuki, and Naka are packing candies backstage, and Naka reveals that her brother has never appreciated her. She says that he is a perfectionist, and she is clumsy, so she wants to use this chance to improve her image in his eyes. She thinks that even if she doesn't win, if her brother sees her taking part in the class activities, he will acknowledge her a little bit. Naka has another reason she wants to win, but she shies away from speaking it in front of Yuki. Hito sees that Naka is always flustered around Yuki, and he wonders what is going on in her mind. He then thanks Naka for telling them in advance about what the event is going to be this time. It is going to be a game of cops and robbers, so athletic abilities are going to play a big role in it. Suddenly, a man dressed as a huge bottle of katsuda sauce comes there, and Yuki panics. The man inside the costume turns out to be Hito's delinquent friend Tega, who is a long-time fan of the sauce, and he declares that he will take part in the event wearing this costume because no one can beat katsuda sauce. Tega is confident that his team with Yuki and Naka will bring home the first prize. Hito says that he has never seen Naka too active in the physical education classes, and she nervously tells him that she just doesn't want to stand out. Yuki asks him not to worry because she has faith in Naka's abilities, and she promises to do her best in beating Naka's brother's team. Naka repeats her words, and her brother who had come to the cafe to spy on her gets furious, thinking that Yuki is turning his sister against him. Later, as Hito and his friends are eating lunch together, Tega says that he will wear the sauce costume while participating in the event to attract the attention of the media, which makes Hito worried because it might be harmful for Yuki to show her face on the news. Before he can ask her anything, his sister comes there along with his short friend, and he and Tega go down to talk with them. In the meantime, Naka timidly asks Yuki if she can become her friend. Yuki agrees without hesitation, and Naka is overjoyed. However, as Hito asks her and Yuki to come to see the cultural festival, she runs away, saying that she has some work to do. Hito asks Yuki what they were talking about, and in return, she asks him what exactly is friendship. On the other hand, the elated Naka goes to spy on the student council to learn more about the game so that she can help Yuki. But what she finds completes, with the idol Nasuka joining them as a celebrity host. Her partner explains that the main event is basically a 1 versus 3 game of tag in which the Stu team wins. However, to make the game more interesting, class themes. This was what Naka heard. Uriki tells her that friends are there to help each other out in times of need, because that is what she heard from Hito, thousands from finding her. Meanwhile, Taka is fawning over his sister even though it doesn't show on his face, but she gets nervous on seeing him and hides behind Yuki. This makes Taka really furious, and as soon as the game starts, he starts bulldozing the participants one by one. Only Yuki's team is left now, and Tega gets carried away thinking that his favorite singer is watching him. He challenges Taka to a one-on-one, but gets ratioed instantly. With that, Taka turns his furious gaze toward Yuki, who realizes that she has no choice but to fight him. Taka attacks her, but she grips his hand tightly so that he can't throw her away. He grabs her tail to gain advantage, and then suddenly, Naka decides to sacrifice herself to save her only friend. She uses a smoke bomb, and when it disperses, Taka throws his sister away instead of Yuki, who is safe. She begins to wonder why did Naka sacrifice herself. But then she remembers Hito's words that friends are the people we can do both silly and serious things with, and all that matters is how they can make each other's lives better. She wonders what can she do for Naka, and on the other hand, Taka is in trauma because he threw his sister with his full strength. He stares Yuki dead in the eye, and she knows that she can easily get away from him. But the problem is that Taka smells like katsuta sauce, and she can't seem to get away from him. Suddenly, he pounces on her, but Yuki clashes with him head-on, holding him back. Everyone including Taka is shocked that someone can match his strength. But the only thing on Yuki's mind is food. Taka tells her that he won't let anyone come between him and his sister, but even more important than that, he won't let anyone approach his sister with impure intentions. He tells Yuki that she has no idea how special of a relation friendship is to his sister, and he has seen her hurt because of it once, and he won't let that happen twice. He tells Yuki that he will never let her sister have any fake friends as he tries to throw her away. But then Yuki thinks that she must prove that she is a true friend. She suddenly uses Taka's momentum to slam him to the ground, causing the entire audience to gasp, and then rushes towards the goalpost where Naka is waiting for her. Only 20 seconds are left before the game ends, and Taka chases after Yuki, determined not to let her win. Yuki goes straight to Naka, telling her that she didn't understand the essence of friendship earlier, but now she does. She says that she will be very happy if she can become someone special to Naka, and then kneels down before her to reaffirm their friendship. Naka turns red on hearing this, but then suddenly, Taka arrives there and grabs Yuki just as the whistle blows. She was captured at the last moment, and even though she touched Naka and freed her, she did not go out of the jail, which means that their class loses the game despite having an advantage. Taka wins, and Yuki is dumbfounded because second place means no katsuta sauce. She stops functioning, and then the media rushes to the ground to take an interview of the two main players. Naka suddenly remembers Yuki saying that getting her face on camera would be a bad thing, and right now, she is not in the condition to hide it. She looks around for all the available resources and quickly comes up with an idea. She throws a smoke bomb again, and within a couple of seconds, she puts Tega in the wolf costume and Yuki in the sauce costume. Hito and Riko arrive there just then because they were worried about Yuki, and Naka says that she is safe. They guide her away from the field while the media swarms Taka and Teika. They go behind the school building, where Naka apologizes for making their team lose, but Yuki says that it was because she did not understand the rules well. She says that since they are friends, they should share success and failure with each other, and Naka is moved. Taka and his cronies arrive there and tell Naka that they should get home now. The big Jimbo then gives Yuki another death stare because he thinks she is turning his sister gay, and tells her that if she hurts Naka, she is going to pay. At night, Hito finds Yuki by herself on the rooftop, while the rest of the students are enjoying the live concert. She begins telling him about her complex feelings about the cultural festival, and Hito sums them up as the fact that she enjoyed it. Yuki realizes that he is right, and then Hito says that even though they lost this year, they can always try to win the next time. This comes as a shock to Yuki, because she is not used to thinking about so far in the future. Till this point, she felt like she could die at any given moment. But now, she has hopes for a tomorrow that will come with new possibilities. The next day, Hito and Yuki invite Naka over, and she shows them her ninja skills by throwing shurikens at a target. They applaud for her, and Naka timidly tells them that she is not even so talented, and her brother is the real deal. She says that sometimes she wishes that she was not born with this power and responsibility, and life would be better if she could just be a normal girl. Her words deeply touch Yuki, and she tells Naka that she understands exactly how she feels. She tells her that she also wants to be normal, and they begin bonding over their shared dreams while Hito smiles on seeing this heartwarming scene. Just then, Nida arrives behind him and says that he is finally on the path to establish his own harem, and he already has 2 cute girls there. She asks him who is he going to pick for tonight, presenting herself as the third option, and Hito freaks out, trying to tell her that he is not interested. As Yuki shows off her knife-throwing skills to Naka, Nida snuggles with Hito, asking if he wants to cop a feel of heaven. The very next moment, her lollipop is shattered by Yuki's knife, and she sincerely apologizes, saying that she was trying to throw it at the tree, but her hand slipped. Neda is furious and afraid at the same time, but she can't say much openly. She just tells Yuki to be more careful, because if she kills her, she is not getting any information on her sister. After hearing that, Naka asks Neda if she is also not an ordinary person. She tries to introduce herself, but Neda reveals that she knows that Naka is the daughter of a ninja family. She says that she lives on collecting and selling information, and then grabs Naka's face, saying that she knows that she was the one who wrote Yuki's name on the question paper. Naka is intimidated, but as Neda feels Yuki's murderous gaze on her, she immediately backs away. After a while, Neda tells them that she is going to China on a mission, so she might find some information about Yuki's sister. However, she is not going to search too deeply, because then she might run into trouble with the Dragon's Nine, since it is Yuki's old home. Yuki says that she doesn't know anyone besides her master there, and then Neda takes her leave, telling them to spend an intimate Christmas together. Hito gets flustered on hearing this, and then suddenly, Naka asks him if he and Yuki are really dating despite being cousins. Hito gets flustered as he denies that, and says that he and Yuki are not close like that. He asks her to affirm but is taken aback as he sees Yuki blankly staring at him. She had been thinking about her old organization this entire time, and says that she suddenly realized that she was always alone there, but now she has more people to protect. Hito thinks that her feelings for him are that of a familial love and not a romantic one, but he is fine with that. Suddenly, it starts snowing, and soon after that, Hito receives a message from his dad, informing him that he will return home for Christmas. The next day, it is Christmas, and their backyard has a thick layer of snow on it, and Muchai immediately jumps outside to play. Hito creates a tiny snowman, and Yuki decides to ape him. But she hasn't got much skill in sculpting, and her snowman is deformed from all angles. Hito tells her not to mind it because it reflects her individuality, and Yuki believes him. Soon, however, Muchai jumps towards them and destroys just her snowman, devastating her. Hito tells her to forget about it, further saddening her, but then he gets a call from his dad and goes back inside to receive it. He appears uncomfortable the entire time, and then tells Yuki that he is going over to Riko's house for a bit. Yuki understands, but she makes a request of him. As Hito returns from his mom's house, he is feeling really cold and wonders why did Yuki request to meet him in the market. He wonders if she wants to eat out, when suddenly, he sees a huge crowd staring at something. He also joins them, and to his surprise, they were staring at Yuki, who is dressed like a model and waiting for Hito. She puts her scarf around his neck, telling him that she warmed it for him. Hito freaks out as he thinks that other people will think they are dating since they are doing this on Christmas. However, Yuki holds his hand and tells him that it is her intention. She tells Hito that they should date, and he starts trembling, wondering what she means. Yuki tells him that when she saw him looking upset and uncomfortable earlier, she called Riko for advice, and she told her to take him on a date to lift up his spirits. Yuki says that she wants him to be happy and cheerful since it is Christmas, and the embarrassed Hito decides to take up her kind offer. They hold hands as they walk through the market, and Hito begins wondering about his relationship with Yuki again. Suddenly, it starts snowing, and Hito says that he loves snow. Yuki starts laughing and blushing at this, because her name also means snow. She says that even though she knows that Hito is not talking about her, hearing him say that he likes snow makes her feel good. Hito turns red on hearing this, his heart beating out of control, but he can't stop being drawn towards Yuki. The next day, Riko comes over and tells her brother how she helped Yuki pick up her date outfit so that she could have maximum impact on him. He is still flustered by what happened yesterday, and asks Riko if she is sure that Yuki has romantic feelings for him. He finds it hard to imagine that she can have such feelings, but Riko is confident that Yuki likes him too much, and she is not yet aware of her feelings. Hito still finds it hard to believe, so Riko pulls out an app that tests the love compatibility of people who are not couples yet. Hito doesn't believe in such apps, but Riko tells him that it is pretty accurate, and one of her friends proposed to her crush after seeing their score, and now they are dating. She begins asking Hito questions about his and Yuki's interaction, and the answer to them is positive. Hito starts getting more and more self-conscious as the questions become more direct, but at the end, when Riko asks if he or Yuki have ever said that they like each other in a non-romantic context, Hito lies and says that they have not. With just one answer in negative, His score for mutual affection with Yuki comes at a whopping 96%, and Riko tells Hito that he and Yuki are a couple already. He gets even more embarrassed by this, and just then, Yuki returns home from grocery shopping. Hito finds that he has no issue talking with her about normal things, but Riko is not going to let them rest at that. She suddenly starts asking Yuki the same questions she asked Hito, and with each question, he gets more embarrassed. Yuki answers all the questions with yes, and her score is 100%. Well, now Riko is confirmed that there is 196% mutual affection between her brother and his maid, and she is confident that Yuki is soon going to be her sister-in-law. Later, they have dinner while sitting under the comfy table, and Riko begins to reveal embarrassing details about Hito. He panics because he doesn't want Yuki to see his childish side, but Riko can guess that, and she tells that to Yuki as well. Hito is furious now, and he decides to teach his sister a lesson. He tries kicking her under the table, but even after many successful attempts, she doesn't give a reaction. He wonders what is wrong, and peeks under the table, where to his surprise, he finds that he had been kicking Yuki the entire time, but it was nothing more than a nudge for her. However, she has turned red, thinking that Hito was trying his hand, or more accurately his leg, at the under-the-table flirting she has only seen in movies. Hito freaks out too on realizing what he had been doing for the past 5 minutes, and seeing them both turn red, Riko declares that this must be because of a secret between the two lovebirds. The next morning, Hito finds Yuki sleeping right next to him, and suddenly gets flustered. He silently gets out of the bed and goes outside while hiding something from Yuki, who wakes up on hearing his footsteps. Once outside the door, Hito begins beating himself up, because he can't come to terms with his feelings. Lately, Yuki has been having too many nightmares, and he told her that she could sleep next to him if it made her feel better, and she jumped on the offer. However, now he regrets saying such a bold thing, because being close to her makes him awkward. He hasn't been able to get much sleep lately because Yuki is always near him, and he wonders what should he do now. Just then, Yuki opens the door and asks if he is all right. He tells her that today is the annual deep cleaning day, so he woke up early, but that is just a far-fetched excuse. As he goes to freshen up, Hito realizes that he can't be a wimp forever. However, as he thinks about confessing to Yuki, the image of his childhood crush comes to his mind, who once rejected his confession, telling him that he didn't love her. He just wanted someone to be around him. Meanwhile, Yuki has taken Hito's deep cleaning day story for truth, and she starts mopping the floor after collecting all the garbage. She remembers how she was humiliated the first time she tried mopping the floor, but now is the chance to redeem herself. She is confident that she can do it, but Mochai has other plans. By the time Hito comes there, Yuki is again on the floor, drenched with dirty water, and Mochai is standing on her head, waving around his towel. She apologizes to him, but Hito knows it is not her fault. He picks up the dog and tells Yuki to take a warm shower, but as he sees her in the wet shirt, his heart starts beating at 200 beats per minute. He turns red from embarrassment and immediately runs to the bathroom, thinking that it is wrong of him to have dirty feelings about someone as innocent and naive as Yuki. He suddenly remembers how his mother left him, and then even his crush left him alone after rejecting him. Hito thinks that he can't survive Yuki leaving him, when she knocks on the door and asks if he is fine because he has been acting odd since morning. Hito opens the door to tell her that he is fine, but to his surprise, Yuki is sitting on her knees, her lap ready to serve as his pillow. She really wants him to lay his head on her lap to forget his worries, but Hito doesn't want to do that, not when his emotions are already in a turmoil. He tells Yuki that it is embarrassing for a high school student to put his head in a woman's lap, and she suddenly gets upset. She asks Hito if he has grown bored of her, and then suddenly starts crying, saying that she is just a failure after all. She is shocked by her tears because she has not cried in a very long time, and Hito is completely rattled. He wonders if he should comfort Yuki or just run away, and in the end, he decides to send her to take a bath before she catches a cold. Yuki obeys and goes to the bathroom, and Hito realizes that he chose the worst option to respond to her breakdown. He wonders what is wrong with him, and on the other side of the door, Yuki thinks the same. After that moment, Yuki becomes really sentimental and cries at the smallest thing, apologizing even when it is not her mistake. She first cries when Hito points out that she forgot to buy radishes, and later, as he says that Machai is getting too fat, she cries again because she has been overfeeding him. Things become so bad that she starts crying and apologizing even when she sees street cats fighting or a leaf falls from a tree. Hito tries telling her that it is not her fault, but doesn't know how to make her feel better. He still allows her to sleep next to him when she is having nightmares, and because of that, he can't get even a little bit of sleep. He decides to take a nap during the day of New Year's Eve, while Yuki is busy doing chores. She soon comes to ask him out for grocery shopping, but he is gone and has left a note saying he will be back soon. She is a bit upset on reading that, but goes shopping along with Machai. The market she usually goes to is completely closed because it is the end of the year, and Yuki has to go to a supermarket, which is a completely new environment to her. She decides to buy some roast beef for dinner, but as she returns home, she finds Hito preparing dinner for them, and he has also bought some roasted beef. Yuki suddenly starts crying and apologizes for making a mistake yet again. She calms down after a while, but as they start eating, she resumes crying once again. Hito feels pathetic watching this because he has been making Yuki cry despite his best efforts to make her happy. That night, he decides to sleep on the couch, and Yuki covers him with a blanket. The next day, it is the new year, and Riko comes there to take Hito and Yuki to their first shrine visit of the year. Yuki tells her that it will be hard because Hito is sleeping too soundly, and she has been unable to wake him up. Riko is not happy that he is sleeping late, even on such a special day, because it is not just New Year, but also his birthday. Yuki suddenly starts crying on hearing this because she didn't even know her master's birthday. Riko is shocked to see her cry, and Yuki says that her tear glands seem to be malfunctioning as she cries over just anything. She says that she won't be able to stop her tears, so it is best for her to stay inside, and Riko understands. She decides to go to the shrine with her friends and tells Yuki to look after Hito. Yuki then goes inside, and she finds Hito's smartphone on the ground. Suddenly, Naka texts him, saying she wants to go to the shrine with him and Yuki. Yuki decides to accompany her and finds Naka in the shrine wearing traditional clothes while she is in a fashionable outfit. Naka is surprised that Yuki came alone. But she gets the bigger shock when she realizes that she doesn't know the importance of the year's first shrine visit. She explains that everyone tells the gods their wishes on this day, and they can draw slips that tell their fortune for the rest of the year. Yuki decides to draw a fortune slip, but she starts crying on reading that she has uncertain luck, and she might lose and part ways from many things. Naka takes her outside, where Yuki says that this must mean that she is going to go away from Hito this year. She says that his attitude towards her has suddenly changed, and he has been distancing himself from her. She starts crying again, saying that he doesn't need her anymore, and he is going to leave her. She says that whenever she thinks that she is going to be away from Hito, she can't stop her tears from flowing. Naka doesn't know how to console her, so she starts telling Yuki about the time she couldn't stop her tears. She says it happened when her mom died, and Yuki starts bawling even harder after hearing that. Naka tells her that her mother used to say that tears overflow when people have too many emotions bottled up inside. So she advises Yuki to let her tears flow freely so that the burden on her heart becomes lighter. She says that if she keeps crying, the grief will pass, and she will be able to smile once again. Yuki feels better on hearing this, and Naka tells her to cry to her heart's content before they go to make their wishes before the gods. Later, they go to the shrine to make their wishes, and Yuki prays that she can continue living with Hito and all her friends. Meanwhile, Hito is still sound asleep when he gets a call from his dad, who is finally back in town. Hito doesn't wake up to pick the call, so his dad starts heading home by himself silently. On the other hand, as Yuki walks back home along with Naka, she tells her that it is Hito's birthday today. Naka gets excited to hear that, and she tells Yuki that she should buy a good gift, and then wait till they are both alone to give it to him. Yuki has no idea what she can give as a gift, and Naka asks her what Hito likes. Her first thought is the pork cutlet they get from the Katsuda store, but Naka says that it isn't special enough to be a birthday gift. Yuki thinks some more, and she realizes that Hito is fond of action figures. However, she doesn't know that they are called action figures and tells Naka that Hito likes dolls. Fortunately, Naka is a smart one, and she leads Yuki to a store selling action figures. She spots a toy that Hito already has, and decides to buy it for him, thinking that he will like it. Naka tells her that this one is like a lottery, and she needs to keep playing till she gets what she wants. Yuki immediately gets to work, but after a few rounds, she only gets shiny ones, and not the one that looks like Lucario on crack. She starts crying, thinking that she can't do anything right, and Noka struggles to calm her down. Just then, a Dilf comes there, and suddenly asks Yuki if she would like to learn a spell to get the right toy from the gacha machine. Yuki is curious, and the man tells her that the first thing she should do is get rid of her tears, because evil spirits live in them and eat away the confidence. He keeps talking like he has forgotten his schizo medicines today, and then tells Yuki that she needs determination and killing instinct to get the machine to listen to her. Well, she is so desperate that she believes him, and practically threatens the gacha machine that she will kill it if she doesn't get the desired toy this time. Naka and the man are shocked by her intensity, but surprisingly, this trick works, and she gets Lucario on crack. Yuki is overjoyed and thanks the man, who tells her that he was in a situation like this once when he was trying to buy his son a toy, so he couldn't leave her alone. He then walks away to do his shopping, and Yuki finds him cool and kind. On the other hand, Riko wakes Hito up with a karate chop to the head, and asks how long is he going to sleep on his birthday. She tells him that their dad is going to be home any time now, and before Hito can fully process that, he sees Yuki's note that she is going to the shrine. Hito panics on reading that because he has not yet told Yuki about his dad, and Riko finds that absurd because he should have done that earlier since they love together. These words suddenly send Hito in a downward spiral, and he says that communication is not easy even with family members. He still remembers the day his mom left, and he couldn't ask his dad the reason. He couldn't even ask him the reason behind the scary expression on his face, and after that day, their relationship started to get strained. Soon, his father went to work abroad and rarely came home, so he has never had a chance to ask him the reason for his divorce. Now that he thinks about introducing Yuki to him, he is afraid that his father will be angry at both of them. Suddenly, he gets a text that snaps him out of his flashback. It is from Naka, who tells him to cheer Yuki because she drew a bad lot. Within seconds, Yuki returns to the house with her eyes swollen and decides to change into her maid outfit quickly. Hito immediately tells her that his dad is returning and he has no idea about her being an assassin. He tries giving her a suggestion, but he decides against it. He thinks that if he tries to hide Yuki from his dad, he will be trampling over her hard work to become normal, so he swears to protect her no matter what his dad says. Riko starts fawning him and calling him the Rizzler, but asks him to say these things to Yuki's face for better results. Just as they are bickering about it, their dad comes home, and he is the same Dilf Yuki met in the market. Riko runs to hug him, but Hito is quite nervous and distant. He then decides to tell his dad about Yuki, and by the time she comes downstairs after changing, the dad has learnt all the important bits about her. They sit down to talk while Hito prepares coffee, and his dad remarks that he knew Yuki's old master, who was a respectable person. They start talking about how he met her old master, who asked him to take her in after his death, and Hito just listens to them, feeling that he is the only one being left out of the loop, just like during his parents' divorce. He starts feeling lonely and then realizes that there are things that he didn't know about his dad or Yuki. He suddenly understands that he is always assuming what the other person is thinking, and he has never directly confronted them to learn the truth. Meanwhile, his dad has finished his chats with Yuki, and he decides to go to Riko's place to talk to her mom. Riko tells her that he should stay over to celebrate Hito's birthday, but he replies that Hito doesn't even like his birthday. He then congratulates him for turning 16 and then gives him a gift from him and his estranged wife. He says that after that, he is going to attend a company meeting and then return abroad, which makes Hito feel insecure that he won't be able to have a proper conversation with his dad even this time. As his dad and Riko sit in a cab, Hito decides to overcome his hesitation and holds the cab's door, asking his dad permission to let Yuki stay here. His dad just stares at him and then asks what he wants to do, and Hito says that he wants Yuki to stay with him. His dad tells him to follow through his decision, and says that he will explain things to his mom. He leaves with that, and Hito feels better because it is the first time he was able to convey something to his dad. Behind him, Yuki is feeling giddy because Hito said that he wants her to stay, but before she can speak to him, he gets a call from his dad, who asks him to hand over the phone to Yuki. He then tells Yuki that Hito has started to change because of her, and asks her to keep looking after him in the future. Yuki is overwhelmed by her emotions, and after the call ends, she gathers all her courage to ask Hito to see the night view with her. Just as he agrees, she lifts him in her arms and jumps to the rooftop, panting and clutching her heart that can barely handle all this stress. As the sun starts to set, Yuki wishes him a happy birthday and gives him the action figure she bought for him. But to her shock, she had gripped it too tightly, breaking it. She is on the verge of crying again, but Hito understands her feelings now. He realizes how tense she must have been when he was trying to avoid an honest conversation with her, and he no longer wants to do that. He decides to be honest about his feelings with her, and tells her that this action figure is from his favorite show in his childhood back when his parents were together. He tells her about his insecurities and how he has been avoiding his father ever since his mom left, and wonders if he can patch up their relationship. Hito then tells Yuki that he doesn't want his relationship with her to spoil because of a lack of communication, and that is why he wants to live like they are a family who shares everything together. Hearing his words remind Yuki of her family, and she starts crying again. But this time, they are tears of joy. She asks Hito if she can really become his family, and he impatiently tells her that only she can do that because he likes her. He eagerly awaits her response, and when she tells him that she likes him too, he doesn't sense any romantic feelings behind it, and it is his turn to cry. When he returns to his room, Hito breaks down into tears, thinking that even though he worked up the courage to confess his feelings to Yuki, all he got in return was a heartbreak. However, he is overlooking the fact that Yuki is a slow learner when it comes to matters of the heart.